What's the Chow Chinchows? JoesphGames here, your coach of the Chester Chinchous, and welcome to the draft recap for Season 2 of the IBL, the Indigo Battle League. And of course, I am joined by my assistant coach, the one, the only, Darude Leafstorm.
Hey guys, it's Darude Leafstorm here, and we, the Chester Chinchows, are back for IBL Season 2, I believe it is, right?
Yep.
Yep, IBL Season 2. And we've got a powerful draft this season, so let's get into the draft, what we picked, and why we picked them.
Okay, so the draft took place on Saturday. A Saturday afternoon, a little bit early for the Americans, but it worked out pretty nicely for us British people because it was right in the middle of the afternoon. And we got 8th position in the draft, so not the best place for us, but it worked out pretty nicely. We got what we wanted really out of it, and it was okay.
Yeah, when we saw 8th on when the draft order came out, we were quite worried because there was a specific mon we wanted, and we definitely didn't think it would last till 8th. But that mon ended up getting banned, spoilers, so, it kind of turned out okay in the end. But yeah, 8th is a pretty position, but it worked out in the end, so no complaints, I guess.
I'm just going to come out and say I wanted Mew. I really wanted Mew. I had this team built around Mew, and I really wanted it. And when it got banned, I really didn't feel like I wanted to cost the amount of points it would get to unban it. It's a lot of points to unban something. That's 100 points up on the tier that it's in. So Mew is A tier. That's 280 points. Out of the 500 we're allowed to spend, that's a lot.
Especially just for one Pokemon as well. But we may as well say now, one mon we were considering, but we probably wouldn't have ended up going with it anyway. We were considering of unbanning Magearna, because Magearna in draft is honestly one of the most broken.
Oh yeah, that thing is OP. That thing is OP.
Is ridiculous, especially with Z moves. It is ridiculous because basically you set up a shift gear, you get a kill, and you sweep. That's basically what you do with Magearna. It can do so many things in draft format, and even in tiers, it's really unpredictable. It can be Assault Vest, it can be Trick Room, it can be Z move, shift gear. There's so many things it can do. And it did get banned, and we were considering unbanning it.
It's slightly less OP now that they banned Baton Pass, though.
Yeah, because with Baton Pass, it was crazy because Scolipede would basically just pass into it. It would run Z Flash Cannon or Z Fleur Cannon, and it would just destroy something and sweep from there. But yeah, kind of glad Baton Pass is banned, not gonna lie. But yeah. So we were considering about unbanning Magearna, but we didn't end up going for it, as you'll see. What did we end up going for instead?
We went for Maui. We went for Tapu Bulu. I like Tapu Bulu as an A-tier mon. It is a really interesting mon to use. I really like this thing. It is from what I've seen, it can be a very good physical attacker, but it also is a brick wall. This thing ain't going down. I was playing it the morning of the draft, and basically this thing, no matter what I hit it with, whether it was a super effective attack, it just wasn't going down. I could hit it with steel, it wasn't going down. I could hit it with poison, it wasn't going down. Fire, ice, flying, anything. This thing could take it all.
Now, Tapu Bulu is a very good mon. However, base 75 speed lets it down a little bit, but it does back that up with its quite iffy 70 HP, but it does have that really high 115 defense and a decent special defense in 95, which makes this thing a very good slow, hard hitter. And it can be run Choice Scarf. Scarf Woodhammer in Grassy Surge just does crazy amounts of damage. There are very few switch-ins to this thing. It gets a decent amount of coverage with things like Mega Horn, Superpower. Obviously, you've got Horn Leech for recovery. You've got Wood Hammer to hit hard. It also has a base 85 special attack stat if you want to go that route. Also gets things like Leech Seed. It gets both screens. And it also gets Nature's Madness, which is the Tapu's special move, which cuts someone's HP in half, which is really good for breaking down defensive cores. So I feel like Tapu Bulu is really going to help us in this season. The only thing that I really am a bit iffy with Tapu Bulu is its 4 times weakness to poison, and especially with Hidden Power being such a huge thing in Draft League format. It is very difficult for Tapu Bulu to maintain itself. But if you run Scarfed and you outspeed everything, basically the team's going to get wrecked, pretty much, because Tapu Bulu hits super hard. So yeah, our first pick was Tapu Bulu.
Okay, so Tapu Bulu, very nice mon. I really like it. Then I kind of fudged up.
Yeah, but I think it worked out in the end. I just think we could have picked this mon up a little bit later. But, I mean, it didn't really mess up our plans at all. Did it actually? It didn't mess it up at all, actually.
No.
So it ended up better for us. It kind of messed up a few things like a defogger. A good defogger that we could find, but we ended up getting a pretty decent one later on, as you'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, the next pick we ended up getting...
Anyway, we picked up Talonflame. Now, I like Talonflame. Talonflame is a good mon. It got slightly a bit nerfed in 7th gen because of Gale Wings not doing what it's supposed to do anymore, but it's still a good mon. I still like this thing. It is still one of the fastest birds there is. It is still one of the fastest Pokemon there is. If you look at like Pokemon usage stats on the global link, Talonflame is still up there, even though it is slightly less up than it would be if Gale Wings was working the way it would do. But, you know, Roost is a good thing. Flare Blitz works out nicely. We can flamethrower things. Brave Bird. This thing is fast, but it does work too. And I really like it.
Yeah, I've been using Talonflame quite a bit in tiers. Right now it's, I think, BL2, which is UU basically. And it honestly puts in a lot of work. And this was one of the mons we were considering as our Z captain, because Talonflame works really well with Flynium Z Brave Bird. It hits super hard, even though its attack is only base 81. Its Supersonic Sky Strike is powerful from Brave Bird. So there are very few switch-ins to that. Talonflame also gave us a really nice speed tier of base 126, which is very hard to get past. And we can outspeed certain Scarf Pokemon, especially base 60s I know we outspeed. I'm not sure about base 70s. We might not outspeed them. But base 60s we definitely outspeed Scarf, which is really good. We have a Fire Flying type. Second part to our Fire Water Grass Core with Tapu Bulu. So yeah, Talonflame is, again, very fast with that base 126 speed. It's a fast U-turner. It hits hard with Flare Blitz. It can set up a sword stance. It can bulk up. And it also gives us Tailwind, which is really nice for us. But yeah, Talonflame can definitely do a lot of things. Whether we should have picked up round 2, I don't really think so. But again, it didn't mess up our plans that much, so it's fine. We got Talonflame, and I hope that it puts in a lot of work for us this season, and I honestly think it will. So yeah, that's Talonflame.
I really like Talonflame still. The fact is, Talonflame it's a little frail, and it's 4 times weak to rocks.
Yeah, that is
so Stealth
quite
Rocks is a
unfortunate.
bit scary for Talonflame.
Definitely.
But we have we have some sort of solution, and we're going to start bringing it out now. I wanted to bring out start using. Well, we got our Firewater Grass Core on lock. Now I want to get my Fairy Dragon Steel Core into a situation which is slightly better than it's going to. So I decided to go for. Well, we decided to go for PlayStation the Magnezone. I like Magnezone.
So, yeah, Magnezone is very good. So what were you gonna say? Sorry.
I like Magnezone, but it's still a little frail in my books, really, because it's like people can bring fire and Magnezone ain't taking that.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. However, I really like Magnezone. I think Magnezone is very good. It's a very good Volt Switch pressure, I guess you could call it, if that's even a thing. But it does pressure a lot of things with Volt Switch, because if you switch out on a Magnezone and it has Analytic, something is going to take a huge hit from this thing. It has base 130 special attack, which is insane. Base 115 defense, which you can't, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word, but you can't underestimate that. That is a really good defense stat. Base 70 HP, again, a bit iffy, but base 90 special defense. However, base 60 speed lets it down a little bit. But yeah, Magnezone gets 3 amazing abilities in Magnet Pull, Sturdy, and Analytic. Magnet Pull, trapping those steel types that want to threaten our Tapu Bulu. Sturdy, obviously, just being that crutch if we need it, letting us take a hit if it was going to OHKO us. And then obviously Analytic lets us hit things very, very hard. So yeah, Magnezone is a very good Scarf user. Also gives us a Steel type. It gives us an Electric type, which is something we needed. And it works very, very well with Talonflame. And this kind of core we've got going on with Tapu Bulu, Talonflame, and Magnezone is actually really, really decent. Because Magnezone can Volt Switch, Talonflame can U-turn, and Tapu Bulu can just destroy things. So, yeah, we got a nice core going on. So, yeah, I definitely feel like we picked it up with this pick. And I'm quite surprised it didn't go round 3. But, yeah, we got Magnezone, so I'm happy with it. And I'm pretty sure you are as well. So, yeah, that's Magnezone.
I really like Magnezone. It's a good one. It works out really nicely on the team as well. So, yeah, Magnezone's quite nice. Then we went to C tier because, well, we had to pick up... in the draft, we had to pick up 1A, 1B, 2C, 1D, and 1E, and then anything else we wanted, based on the points we had left over. So we went to C tier after this, and our C tier mon, I really am happy that we have this, because it's one of the bulkiest mons in C tier, plus the fact is, it really works nicely finishing off our Firewater Glass Core. We picked up Ender the Blastoise. Best rapid spinner in the game, I would say.
It is a very, very good rapid spinner, is Ender the Blastoise. Blastoise is very, very bulky, with its base 79 HP, base 100 defense, base 105 special defense. Also has a pretty decent speed tier for a bulky mon, being base 78. Blastoise is one of the best Scald abusers in the game, as well as its huge move pool, being Water Spout, Zen Headbutt, Seismic Toss, Rock Slide, Rapid Spin, Power Punch Outrage, Ice Punch Ice Beam, Gyro Ball, Focus Blast, Flash Cannon, Earthquake, Dragon Tail, Dragon Pulse, Dark Pulse, Brick Break, Blizzard if we want to risk that, Aqua Jet, and Aura Sphere. Just some of the moves it gets. It does have a crazy move pool. It can be run both offensive or defensive, mostly defensive though, because it is very good in that grand scheme of things. But yeah, and this Mon gave us a good Rapid Spinner, which we definitely needed for Talonflame. And we needed it anyway. It also gives us a Mon that stops setup because we have Haze as an option on Blastoise, as well as Roar, and I believe Dragon Tail as well. So Blastoise is a very good Mon, and I think it will work really well this season for us. And again, it works really nicely with our team. So yeah, that's Blastoise. Not much else to say about it.
I like the fact I like Blastoise. It's a good one, and the fact is also added on to all of the things that Reed just said about it. We can also run Rain Dish. If Rain is in play, which it could very well be for one time, we could even bring Rain sometime. We get health back. It is similar to Leftovers.
Yeah, that can really come in handy, especially like you said against Rain teams, because Rain is very scary in this format. So yeah, that would actually help us out. I didn't even think about that, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, we got Rain Dish on deck if we need it.
Yeah. And then we got another C tier Mon back straight up as well. And I like the C tier Mon. I really do. And it was your suggestion that really brought this in for me, Darude. Basically, we went for Little Bro the Gligar. And I was a little worried about Gligar because the fact is, Gligar is, well, he's Little Bro. He's not as good as his bigger bro, Griscore, but like Little Bro can work out nicely too.
Yeah, now I have a lot to say about Gligar because Gligar has always been one of my favorite Pokemon. I just think it looks adorable.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It is adorable. And I just love how adorable it is, but how bulky it is and how well it works in especially in League format. Now, as you've seen by the rest of our team, we have quite a few quad weaknesses. And this was done on purpose because the thing is, if we just had Tapu Bulu and Talonflame, it would be easy for people to just run, say, Hidden Power Poison on this Mon, Hidden Power Rock on that Mon. But if you draft a bunch of quad weaknesses together, it makes it a lot harder for people to put Hidden Powers on certain Mons. So we have a quad weakness in Poison in Tapu Bulu, a quad weakness in Rock in Talonflame, quad weakness in Ground with Magnezone, and now a quad weakness in Ice in Gligar. So this all works out for us in the end. So yeah, going back to Gligar. Gligar is very, very good. It's a great defogger, one of the best in my opinion, as well as it gets access to Knockoff, as well as Stealth Rock. It has SD Baton Pass, which can work. It has Tailwind. It has U-Turn. It has Earthquake, which is always a good move. It can run Agility Baton Pass. It can run... you can run an offensive set. Gligar just works so well. And yes, its quad weakness to Ice is quite detrimental to it. But if you work around it, it's really, really decent. And I really think that Gligar and Blastoise are a really good defensive core for us. Because obviously Gligar's weak to like ice, water, Blastoise resists those, as well as Blastoise is weak to electric, which Gligar completely is immune to. And even though Gligar doesn't resist grass, it's still a very good defensive core. And I definitely think Gligar will be underestimated, but I think it can put in the work. So yeah, maybe not offensively, but defensively, I think it can annoy a few people, especially if they don't have a knockoff user for that Eviolite. But yeah, that's Gligar. I'm really happy with that pick, to be perfectly honest. And yeah, let's move on to the next pick, which really shouldn't have happened, but it just kind of did. So yeah, please announce our next pick.
All right, we got Nightmare, Kieran Black. I don't know how this thing lasted 6 rounds, because last year it was the second pick. And everyone didn't ban it again after last year it just destroyed of everyone. This thing is scary as hell, but we got it.
We did. Kieran Black, one of the best mons in Draft League format, in my opinion. It has an amazing move pool. It hits so hard with base 120 special attack, base 170 attack, as well as base 125 HP. Like, people don't know how high that is. Like, if you compare it to a Lomomola, who is known for its HP and bulk, it has base 165 HP, which is only 40 more points than Kieran Black. It has base 100 defense, base 90 special defense. So this thing can potentially be more bulky than a Lomomola, which is ridiculous. Kieran Black is insane. It has an amazing typing being Ice and Dragon. Now, it is weak to Stealth Rocks, which is always a scary thing, but we have decent hazard removers to deal with that. And we weren't, like, our goal wasn't to get Kieran Black. We just kind of saw that it was there, and we were like, why is this there? And then we picked it. That's basically how it went. So yeah, Kieran Black just gets amazing coverage, and as after the draft, we made it our Z captain as well, which just means it gets better coverage, basically, because you get an over base 100 attack on anything, being whatever type you want to run. Like, you can run Icium Z Free Shock, which I think is base 200 physical ice type move from a base 170 attack Kieran Black, which basically means something is dying. So yeah, I could honestly go on and on about Kieran Black. But yeah, that is our pick. Do you have anything to say about Kieran Black, Joe?
Kieran Black is absolutely amazing, and it is what its nickname is going to be. It is a nightmare. People will realize this. I feel like our team is very scary so far.
Definitely. We have really hard hitting mons. Like, if you look at our team so far, we have Tapu Bulu to just deal so much damage, Talonflame, who is a very good pivot, as well as Magnezone, who hits very hard and is a very good pivot. We have Blastoise for our bulk, and as well as Gligar. And now we have Kieran Black, so we're hitting even harder, especially with our Z moves. So yeah. Moving on to the next pick, I noticed that we didn't really have a lot for, say, like a ground rock type. I felt really hurt us. Even though we had like Blastoise and things like that, a ground type with rock coverage really hurt our team a decent amount. So yeah, we went with this next pick, which is, would you like to announce the next pick?
Well, yeah, I mean, Mesprit. I really like Mesprit. Pixel is our nickname we're going in for. Pixel the Mesprit. Yep. I like this mon. I think this mon can actually do some serious work. Decent special attacker, as well as another person who can use a U-turn. We can Calm Mind with this thing. We could Dazzling Gleam. We could do a lot of good damage. Really good HP with base 80, but we can work with it as well. There's a lot of good things with this mon. I really like it. It's almost Mew. That's the thing about Mesprit. It's almost Mew.
Almost. Not quite there, but almost. Yeah, Mesprit is personally one of my favorite Pokemon in League format. I feel like it's very underestimated. Like, it is insanely underestimated because people think that Azelf and Uxie just outshine it completely. I personally disagree. I think Mesprit is better than Uxie and Azelf. And the reason for that being, it's more well-rounded, which means it can be bulky, it can be offensive. Whereas Azelf and Uxie, Azelf kind of always has to be offensive, and Uxie kind of always has to be defensive. Whereas Mesprit, you can do either. So I feel like Mesprit is the most underestimated, but I feel works the best because it can be run physical, it can be run special, kind of like the other members of the Lake Trio. But this mon gave us access to Knockoff, gave us access to Stealth Rock again, which is another thing we kind of needed another mon of. We have Healing Wish, which is can be a game-changing move, as well as coverage like Dazzling Gleam, Energy Ball, Fire Punch, Knockoff, Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt, Thunder Wave, U-Turn. So yeah, I think Mesprit can definitely work. And like I said, it is one of my favorite mons to use in League format because I've used it before, and I just think it is a great mon, and people completely underestimate it. And I think it will work for us this season. So I'm excited to see how well Mesprit does, and I'm hoping it can do very well.
Okay, so I like Mesprit. Mesprit is a very interesting one to use, and I think it will work really nicely on the team. Then we went to our next pick, which I really am interested in using as well. We have Sophie. Sophie is our Alolan Persian.
Yes. So when I was watching the draft take place, I noticed you said that you haven't really experienced what Alolan Persian does. And I feel like that's a lot with other people as well. I feel like no one really knows what this thing does. But unlucky for them, I certainly know what this thing does. This thing is really annoying. It has Parting Shot, which honestly is one of the best moves in the game. It is U-turn, but it lowers the target's attack and special attack by 1 stage. What can this do exactly? This can set up a perfect opportunity for, say, a Hone Claws, Kieran Black, a Swords Dance Talonflame, a Swords Dance Tapu Bulu, or even a Calm Mind Mesprit. Alolan Persian puts on a lot of pressure, I guess you can call it, for the opposing team, as well as its new ability, which it got with its Alolan form, Fur Coat. Fur Coat is very good on this thing because it can just tank hits for days. Even though its HP and defense aren't that great, with that Fur Coat, its defense stat doubles, so it can just take hits forever, basically. And it has weird coverage, to be perfectly honest, with things like Thunderbolt, Shadow Ball, Power Gem, Play Rough, Night Slash, Nasty Plot, Foul Play, as well as Fake Out. So I definitely feel like Alolan Persian will be one of those mons that is a bit of a mystery to everyone. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how it works out, and I think it will work out very well for us because this thing is just a nuisance to deal with. So yeah, do you have anything to say about Alolan Persian?
I really like this one. It could work out really nicely. I mean, Alolan Persian, I've never experienced what it can do. I mean, there's a lot of... that's the thing with the new mons that came in the 7th gen. I don't know too much about them competitive-wise, and I don't think many people do as well.
That is true. And another thing about Alolan Persian is it has base 115 speed, which is very, very good. So yeah, that's about it for Alolan Persian, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, I don't want to say too much about her as well, because we want it to be a surprise.
Just in case.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, hello other coaches if you're watching. So next, we had to go down to E tier. And E tier is known as the bottom, as the bottom depths. There's some good stuff in here, but it's really hard to find it. So we went in the end with Carly the Wigglytuff. It's a good fairy type, and it does have base 140 HP, which means it can wall stuff as well. So it's not that bad.
Yeah, Wigglytuff. Well, first of all, let's just say it now. We wanted Licky Licky. That was going to be our E-tier because that to me is an insane E-tier. Licky Licky is amazing. It's a great wish passer. It's very bulky and it works very well. However, Licky Licky did get sniped. So I was on my phone because I was actually out at the time. And I was looking through wish passes mainly because I feel like every good team needs some sort of cleric as well as a wish passer. And Wigglytuff surprisingly fits both of those categories. It gets Heal Bell, it gets Wish. However, I looked into its moveset a little bit more, and it has an insane moveset. And when I say insane, I mean insane. It has the strangest coverage I've ever seen, with it getting stuff like Brick Break, Dazzling Gleam, Drain Punch, Blizzard, Fire Blast, Flamethrower, Fire Punch, Focus Blast, Gyro Ball, Grass Knot, Hyper Voice, Ice Beam, Ice Punch, Knock Off, Perish Song, Play Rough, Power Up Punch, Psychic, Seismic Toss, Shadow Ball, Stealth Rock, somehow, Thunder, Thunderbolt, Thunder Punch, Thunder Wave, Tri Attack, which is actually a really decent stab move, as well as Wild Charge. And this mon just, it worried me, to be perfectly honest, when I saw its coverage. I didn't get it. I didn't get why it gets all this coverage, but it does. We have Competitive as an ability we can run, which shuts down stuff like, it pressures stuff like Lando T, which I believe got banned, didn't it? Lando T got banned?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. As well as other intimidators, stuff like Arcanine as well. As well as Frisk, which is a very good ability in the format, because in a format where there are resist berries going everywhere, knowing that something has, say, an Occa Berry for your Mesprit Fire Punch can be insane to know. So I honestly feel like this mon, again, will be one of those really underestimated mons that will just put in a lot of work. And it also gives us another fairy type. Now, we were considering not grabbing this because it was a fairy type. However, I felt like it was better because Tapu Bulu doesn't really take advantage of its fairy typing. Because its only move that's a fairy type move is Dazzling Gleam, which it doesn't really take advantage of a lot. So we felt like picking up something like Wigglytuff that can abuse that fairy typing could really help us. So yeah, surprisingly, I had a lot to say about Wigglytuff. But yeah, if you would like to say anything, feel free, because, you know, it is quite an interesting mon.
I think this one could work out really nicely for us. I'm a little worried about it, but I really think it can work out really nicely.
Mm-hmm. And it is a very good wish passer, and that's the thing that really kind of made this pick, especially for me, because wish is my favorite move in League format. I just love how you can just bring a mon's HP back to basically full. And if you compare Wigglytuff's HP, base 140 HP, that's insane. If you compare that to Licky Licky's base HP, one of the best wish passers, base 110, that is 30 more points of HP that you'll be getting. Obviously, it's not exactly 30. It will be some strange amount. But at level 50, let's have a look at Wigglytuff's HP at level 50. At level 50, if you run max HP on a Wigglytuff, it goes to 247, which is insane. That is crazy for a wish passer, and I think it can help our team a lot. So yeah, that's Wigglytuff. I think it will put in a lot of work, and I really hope it does, to be perfectly honest. So yeah.
So that was all our required picks done and dusted.
Yes.
So the next thing we had to do was spend our points to get the final two picks of the team, and we've been spending points quite well for the past for the entire picks. And by the way, one more thing before we get into these last two picks, shoutouts to Darude, because the fact is he was in New York during this draft, and he still came through for me. Despite the fact that, he could have been, he could be on the Empire State Building, he could have been anywhere he wanted, he could have even gone into the museum, the Natural History Museum, and reenacted a night at the museum.
That's very true. I could have done that. But instead, I was at the draft, and I was helping out because, it's kind of my job to do that. And yeah, I really like how our draft ended up, and I am glad that we picked up these Mons. So yeah, let's get into our next pick. Now, going into it, I just want to say before we say what Mon we picked, going into it, I noticed a few things. We were missing a poison type, a rock type, as well as a fighting type. So those three things were there, and we didn't have that many points to spend because we did pick up Kieran Black, which spent quite a few of our points, but honestly, completely worth it. So yeah, let's hop into our next pick. So what is it? What is our next pick?
We picked up Machamp.
Mm-hmm.
Machamp, I really like. Machamp is one of the best physical attackers there is. A good special defense as well. Decent defense, not bad. It's a bit slow, but it can work really nicely. And the fact is, no guard is a thing. No guard means every time I hit a dynamic punch, that is hitting.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I hit a Stone Edge, that is hitting.
Stone Edge is one of the worst moves in the game. I absolutely hate it. But with Machamp, it makes it a nice, safe move we can click. So, yeah. Machamp. I was very surprised this lasted, actually. It's one of the best fighting types, in my opinion. We were also considering Primeape. That was another thing that was on our list. But we ended up going with Machamp. Now, Machamp, like you said, is a bit slow, base 55 speed. Our whole draft isn't too fast. That is very true. However, we do have Trick Room potential in Mesprit, and we do have two very fast Mons in Persian and Talonflame, as well as a decently fast Mon in Kieran Black. And we have quite a few potential Scarf abusers. Now, Machamp is one of the best Assault Vest abusers. It uses Assault Vest very well. It works so well with it, and it gets a pretty decent amount of coverage, with it being getting Stone Edge, Rock Slide, Power Punch, Poison Jab, Knockoff, which is great, Ice Punch, Heavy Slam, Focus Blast, which will never run most likely, Fire Punch, Dynamic Punch, Earthquake, Cross Chop, and Close Combat, as well as Priority and Bullet Punch, which is one thing we do lack, priority. However, we do have, like I said, very fast Mons, very fast Mon in Talonflame, as well as a little in Persian. So, yeah, we do get a bit of priority in that Bullet Punch. So, yeah, as well as you can run a little cheeky move called Counter, which is one of my favorite moves to run in League format as well, because it just catches a lot of people off guard. It also abuses an ability called Guts. This makes it a very good Will-O-Wisp switch-in, which can help us quite a lot with us having Tapu Bulu on the team, as well as Kieran Black. So, yeah, if you paralyze, burn, well, not freeze, but if we run like Rest, Sleep Talk Machamp with Guts, that sounds kind of dangerous to me. But yeah, it's going to hit very hard. So yeah, I really liked Machamp. It pressures a lot of Mons. There are very few switches to Machamp. So yeah, that is Machamp. And I believe the nickname is CM Punk. So yeah.
Yep, CM Punk.
Boy.
I really love this Mon. I'm a huge fan of Machamp. I been that way for a very long time. I'm a Gen 1er at heart, so Machamp is going to be amazing for me. I love Machamp. And our final pick had to be an E-tier Mon, because we spent a lot of points and we only had 40 left. So we had to pick up from the bottom depths again. But I think we picked up a rather nice Mon from the bottom depths this time. We went for Arbok.
Yes. What to say about Arbok? Arbok is quite a strange Pokemon. It has very, I'm going to have to say lackluster stats. Base attack is not that bad, actually, with base 95. Base 80 speed is not that bad either. But the reason we drafted Arbok was it gave us a poison type, as well as it gave us an Intimidate Mon, which Intimidate is a really good ability in League format. And when I looked at Arbok, I saw a few interesting things. I saw, well, first of all, it was a poison type, and we needed another fairy resist, really, because we have how many Mons weak to fairy? We have 3 Mons weak to fairy, and adding Arbok to the team made it so we had 3 resistances, which is really nice. However, if you look deep into Arbok, it gets Dragon Tail, which is very good to stop setup, as well as it gets Coil to setup itself. It also gets things like Crunch to hit those psychic types, as well as Gunk Shot, which is a really nice stab move. It gets Earthquake as well, it gets Fire Fang, it gets Giga Drain, it gets Ice Fang, Seed Bomb, Rock Slide, as well as Sucker Punch, which gives us more priority. So I felt like Arbok was a really nice pickup. It was one of the best E-tier mons, I guess, because there weren't all that much that was good in E-tier. But yeah, I really like Arbok, and I feel like, as well as Wigglytuff, it will be very underestimated. And yeah, we got that Gen 1 power in our team, so...
Yeah.
You know.
And another good 2 abilities we can run on Arbok. Shed Skin, amazing, because the fact is, there's a chance if we do get hacked by somebody, someone wants to bring Paralyze, someone wants to bring Sleep sometime, we can get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
And also Unnerve, one of the best league-based abilities there is, because the fact is, a lot of people are going to want to bring berries, and if we can say, nope, you're not eating a berry, we might be able to do something.
Help out, yeah. So, yeah, Arbok, it gets 3 pretty good abilities, and I feel like that goes through with quite a few of our mons, actually. The good abilities. So yeah, I definitely feel like Arbok can put in some underestimated work. And as well as another thing I've just noticed, it gets a move called Glare, which can paralyze the target, so it can actually hit ground types because it's a normal type move. So that is actually very clutch, because paralyzing stuff like Garchomp and stuff like Landorus T, I know isn't, it got banned, but say if it was here, paralyzing that could be completely huge. So yeah, that does give us a really nice option, being able to paralyze some fast ground types that we may have to face. So yeah, I really like Arbok, and I think it can really work for us. So yeah, that's our squad for this season.
Also, one more thing about Arbok, and I know that you're not sure about it, but like Stockpile. I know that it gets it, and I know that it could work really nicely with Stockpile. That would literally wall things.
We could run like a Stockpile Rest Shedskin Arbok, which could just sit there and just tank hits for days. But yeah, we could run Stockpile. We could. You never know with League. That's the thing. So yeah. Oh, and also one more thing. I know we keep on adding things on about Arbok, but he gets a move called Gastro Acid. Now, Gastro Acid is a very interesting move. It completely nullifies a target's ability. Now, this can be very, very useful with things like, I know this mon isn't allowed, well, it's megas aren't allowed, but if say someone had a Mega Pinsir and we just clicked Gastro Acid, that's its Aerialate gone, and it most likely is not carrying an actual flying type move. So that would completely shut down Pinsir, as well as getting rid of things like Beast Boost on Ultra Beast. That can be very important, as well as getting rid of stuff like Arena Trap on Dugtrio, so we can switch out freely. I feel like Gastro Acid we probably will end up bringing quite a few times. But yeah, that's about it with Arbok now. We promise. Unless you can find something else.
No, I'm pretty sure that's it. We don't want to go too far, just in case. But that is the team. I really like it. I think we can do some serious work this year. I'm hoping we can do some serious work this year, because my aim is playoffs, and I feel like it's a good aim, and I feel like we can do it.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with Kieran Black's 6th round, it did definitely help us out a lot. But yeah, I really like the team. I think it can work out really nicely, and I'm really looking forward to see how it performs. So you guys will have to wait for week 1 to see how it performs. But yeah, that's about it for this draft recap. So would you like to take us out?
Yeah, okay, so week 1 we face the Elite Four walkthroughs and the Washington Wake Spirits. You can see that match Sunday night, 10 p.m. on the channel, because the way I want to because I'm still in the WSS as well, so I'm still going to be running WSS matches on Sundays as well as this league for the remaining couple of weeks. And of course, then I've got my 3rd league coming in as well, which is not Draft League, by the way. That's,
no, it's not. That would be a bit insane.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that kind of pressure on you. But the fact is, I am also part of the MLPB, which is Pack Battle League, which will also probably have matches on Sundays as well. So Sundays are going to be a very busy day for JoesphGames and for Chester Chinchous. But it's going to be awesome because we make the impossible awesome. And that's something I'm going to, like, that's a line I want to put on a t-shirt one day. Make the impossible awesome.
With that's our slogan. There we go. We got it.
Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, you can leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, if you're on VidMe, you can leave an upvote, you can follow the channel, and of course, you can leave a comment over there as well. Follow me on Twitter. I am at JoesphGames. Of course, Darude is at DarudeLeafStorm. And Darude is an amazing person. His link is in the description below. Go and check out his channel. If you're not watching DarudeLeafStorm, I don't know what you're doing with yourself. So watch Darude. And also keep an eye on the league, because all the other links to all the other coaches, including the IBL's channel, are in the description below. Go and check them out. And until next time, I'm JoesphGames.
And I'm DarudeLeafStorm.
And we are out. See you again.
Peace.